Hey there, fellow creators. Ben here from Cinderblock Studios, and it's time for another message to my subscribers. It's the annual year-end thing where we kind of recap the year, and I start teasing a little bit of what's coming in the new year. So if you want to see what's going to be coming new for 2021, stick around. So as always, for all of you watching who are subscribers to this channel, thank you. Thank you for supporting me, watching this stuff, and learning along with me. Words cannot describe how amazing it is that I upload videos and people watch them. I still like, people are watching this? Okay, sure. I don't really get it, but I love doing it, so thanks guys for supporting me. And yeah, that's that, I suppose. A fairly standard growth this year for the channel, as it's been sort of trending the past couple of years. Roughly 1,000 or so subscribers seem to be coming in every year, although I think it was 1.5 this year. Not major monumental growth, but all growth is good. I appreciate that you guys keep sharing my stuff, and it keeps kind of getting out there a little bit further and a little bit further. So as an artist and any kind of creator really, I suppose your goal is to kind of keep getting your stuff out there further, and I'm just happy to see it continuing as well. Now, as for this year's recap, there actually isn't a ton of stuff that I have to talk about here. I mean, this was 2020. It was the year of the pandemic, the shutdown for many people around the world. A lot of people lost jobs, lives. Then this year for many people has been a dumpster fire inside of another dumpster fire. So to talk about what's went right for me this year, I feel like is something I don't want to do a ton. I mean, I was very fortunate to some degree. I work in a hospital, so job security. I didn't have to worry about being out of work for several months or having to work from home or anything like that. So things have been as good as they can be. Certainly not struggling, but doing what I can to provide a little bit of extra hope and joy to you guys with my videos mostly every week. Although this year I've been missing a lot of weeks with everything that's been happening. It's completely killed my motivation to not just produce videos, but also to even make a lot of paintings. So I mean, my whole production has just been like scaled way back this year, mostly due to just motivation issues. I'm like sit around and I'm like, I don't want to do anything. I can't go anywhere. I can't, do much. So it's just like, eh. Outside of that, surprisingly, I've actually sold a number of paintings this year. My local gallery, where I'm a member and featured artist, Red Fishbowl Studios. Luckily, I have an art manager who can represent me. I don't have to go down and constantly plug my own work. He does all that for me, and apparently does really well because I've been selling stuff. I'm actually working on my second commission for this year. Hopefully, trying to get that done before the end of the year. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm sitting artistically. I mean, again, I'm trying to do videos and bring some joy to you guys. I did a giveaway about a month and a half ago, just trying to help you guys out a little bit, because I know it's been kind of a crazy, hectic year for a lot of people. The other sort of semi-major event from this year that it kind of, I didn't talk about it really at all. It just kind of got silently swept under the rug. And that is, I closed my Patreon page. I had it up for like 2-3 years, really no growth on it. So I was like, you know what? I don't need to worry about this right now. It's just another headache. So that's closed for the time being. I may go back to it in the future, but for future support of me, the best way to do it is to just, buy artwork and watch videos. Now, as far as stuff I'm hoping for next year, this is kind of where I've got the most stuff to talk about. So the first big one I announced, I guess about 2 months ago, it was the relaunch of the Kingdom of the Wind project. Now, if you're unfamiliar with that, back in 2016, I believe it was actually before I moved, I was starting to work on this project where I wrote a short story. I'm like, let's illustrate all this stuff and do all these paintings for this project and open it up to the community. You guys can work on it too and whatever. Gained no traction. It's when I bought this place, that whole project fell on the back burners, at least for a while. And a couple of months ago, I was like, you know what? if I can print this in like a booklet. I can go to my local printer that does all my art prints, and they can basically, I can get like a 20-page booklet done. So as long as it's sort of edited together to some degree, I'm like, let me go through and actually finish some of these paintings and illustrations and actually get this stuff out there. So that's my sort of short-term, long-term goal for the upcoming months. I'm hoping to launch that in spring of next year. So that'll be sort of the first big thing for 2021. Now, something else that I did launch this year but didn't plug a ton is the Cinderblocks Studios community Discord channel. I kind of tossed it out there, but I was like, hey, this is, you know, invite only for the time being, just kind of see where things are at. But I want to make that more of a community public Discord. It's called Cinderblock Society because branding and things. And I just kind of using it a place to open it up to you guys to take things outside of that the YouTube head a little bit. I think there can be a little bit of a barrier for some people, specifically with wanting to share their art like really publicly, or like here's a link to my website or something on a video that doesn't really relate. So I created Cinderblock Society in order to create a place to share and promote your work, as well as help each other grow where I'm not always around. But on the plus side to that, because it's open text and voice chat, if I'm online and you see me online, feel free to drop me a message and you can talk one-on-one with me about whatever you're working on. So if you need just an extra set of eyes or wanted even a more in-depth critique with me ever, the community Discord is going to really be the place to do that. And come sometime early next year, probably going to be like January 1st or something, I'm going to have a permanent link to that in all future upcoming videos. So you can come and join that community and keep growing and learning together. Something else that is in the works to some degree, if you guys saw last week's or 2 weeks ago or something, interview with Tyler Lucas from Tyler's the old YouTube channel Tyler's Art Shack, I'm trying to reconnect with the artists that kind of got me to start doing YouTube more seriously. Ironically enough, very few of them still have active channels, but I want to start reconnecting with that group and maybe bringing some of that community back and encouraging them to come back to their channels to start making videos again. So hoping, fingers crossed, but the next sort of bigger one on my plate is I've been dropping some messages to Psychro back and forth a little bit ever since. I mean, I interviewed him like 4, 5, 6 years ago, and then it was kind of silent between us for a while, but we've always kind of had that open line of communication. So I'm like, hey, we get together and pick your brain a little bit again, and trying to get some other voices into the channel besides just my own. Now, the next one is something that will be more probably documented more or less to my Instagram more than anywhere else. But if some restrictions get lifted, depending on how next year goes, hopefully by next summer-ish, or maybe end of next summer, I'm thinking maybe like, right after Labor Day or something. I want to take a trip up to New York, and we're like, okay, what's in New York? There's a lot of things in New York. One of the places is up in the Finger Lakes called Watkins Glen. It's a state park, nice area. There's a place with where there's all these steps that go way up and everything like that. I made a trip there with my parents when I was a kid, and I've been wanting to go back. Actually used to have this t-shirt that says, I made it to the top of Watkins Glen, and it was like, I don't know, 8,000 something steps. And so I want to go back there. So I was looking, I'm like, all right, well, what else is kind of, well, actually, no, that's the other way around. The other thing I want to do is I want to go up and visit the Golden Artist Colors Paint Factory, which is in the middle of New York, middle of the state, in the middle of effing nowhere. So when I was researching that, I'm like, if I do this, I want to be able to stay up there somewhere. So I was like, what else is around? And the closest thing I could find was Watkins Glen. And I'm like, okay, that's good. I've been wanting to go back to some of these places I vacationed when I was a kid. So this would be good. I could take my sketchbook. I do a bunch of, there's like waterfalls in the valleys and everything. A lot of stuff that I do in my paintings. So I take my sketchbook, stay up there for like a week or so, get a ton of studies done, visit the people at the Golden Paint Factory, and come home and share that experience with you guys. So that's sort of my little vacation plan. Hopefully, if I can. It's going to still depend a little bit on how things go socially and economically in the upcoming next 6 to 8 months. Another thing you're going to see from me in 2021 is more stuff from the gallery. Now, I did a live stream from the gallery, and then I segmented a piece of that for the little tour where I just kind of walked around with my laptop and my webcam. But I wanted to start doing more, at least videos through the gallery. And I've got a couple of projects lined up, specifically leaning into the new year, which not necessarily as a live stream, but maybe something like I'm going to be doing a design on a door at some point. I'm doing this. You can't see my hand. A design on a door, and I would love to do it just like a time lapse or a PPV of that would be really fun. So trying to branch out of the studio a little bit more and showing that more. I mean, I do stuff at the gallery here and there as it is, but starting to show that here on the channel a bit more is a goal for sure. Now, the last two things are not specifically related to this channel, but are also are projects that are really important to me. So, some of you, if you remember back far enough, I did this like one season, really crappily, sloppily thrown together show called Medium of Mixology, which was a little thing like me sitting down, making a cocktail, and talking about flavor profiles and stuff back when I was still trying to branch the channel out into some different areas ever since the DMC Films part of the channel kind of got pushed to the side. So I was still trying to branch out a little bit and seeing what else I could throw here on the channel and how it would be received. That particular show, not so much. Pretty minimal views. I mean, you can still find the episodes, but nothing fantastic. But I do maintain the blog, mediumofmixology.com, where I was routinely for a while. Now it's just like whenever I get a good one, I'll post a drink recipe and review for it. Now, a friend of mine is a programmer, and one thing, I shot him an idea when I was, I think, drunk one night, about having some sort of a searchable database of every cocktail I've ever made. Now, there are things like a website like Yumly or something where you can search an ingredient and it spits out like 6 billion different recipes. But I wanted something more specific and more curated. And I also really wanted it to be specific to a lot of specific to different alcohols and liqueurs that you can search it based on maybe amount or different things. So that kind of, then my friend was like, hey, do you want to do this? I'm like, no, not really. I was just, throwing shit at the wall, see what sticks. But I was thinking about it again recently. I was like, you know what? If he's up for it, I would actually love to produce this sort of cocktail database, and then probably put that on that blog. But I want it to exist essentially as a standalone program that anyone can download. So in theory, you can plug everything in yourself if you have, like, depending on whatever home bar you have. But I still want like a base level of recipes and stuff. I don't know. It's an idea, and I think it would be a fun just as an extra little project to throw out there, especially since it's just, another one of my interests. And the last thing, potentially, for 2021 is something that friends and family have been bugging me about since I basically finished it, is I wrote a novel. Actually, I wrote 2 novels. Actually, I'm working on a trilogy of novels. But I was told by several people that I could probably get it published. And I was like, I don't really want to get it published. For one big reason, and that's because I don't want to be known as a writer. I'm a visual artist. That's what I do. That's very important to me. But I worry that if, for whatever reason, in some bizarre third dimension, fourth, I don't know, whatever, that I would publish it and it becomes even mildly successful, that people would know me for that and not know me for my art, and that bothers the heck out of me. But I'm really passionate about the story. I love writing, despite not doing it as often as I have ideas for it. But and I love sharing the story. I'm like, here, read this, tell me what you think. It's nothing groundbreaking or whatever. I know I'm not the best writer. Everything's really dialogue heavy. It's written like a script because that's what I know how to write. But it's yeah, it's a thought. I might look into maybe finding a writing agent in 2021 if I work up the nerve to do it. So the last final things for this year are, I would say, one, leading into 2021, I gotta say, is I need video ideas at this point. I feel like I'm starting to scrape the bottom of the barrel with things I can talk about on this channel. I don't want to totally cut weekly uploads, but at this point, I only have enough to sustain 2021 for weekly videos for about a quarter of the first half of the year. If I space that out to maybe 2 a month, I can get that to maybe about 6 or 8 months. But I'm running out of ideas pretty quick here. Every now and then I come up with something. But there's a lot of stuff now that I'm like, there's some stuff I want to remake, but I'm starting to run out of stuff. I love making videos, but what this year has shown a lot is that I'm getting, it's becoming harder for me to crank them out every week. And I know I could space it out, but I also probably wouldn't make the quality any better. It still would just give me more time to be lazy. So it's not like, oh, just space it out and you make better videos. Like, no, it would be the same videos, just spaced out more. But I'm running out of ideas. So if you guys have ideas, please, please, please share ideas with me. I may not necessarily do all of them, but I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel for stuff to talk about on the channel. So if you guys have ideas, maybe it'll spark a whole string of videos. Who knows? But without suddenly surrendering my artistic and personal integrity of this channel, and start to do just random art challenges, which I really don't want to do. Give me an idea. Of course, one big final, again, thank you for being a subscriber here. Thanks for supporting me over the years. I'm eternally grateful that I'm even able to make a minor cash stipend with my art. That's so crazy. I mean, it was a goal all my life, and now I'm doing it, and maybe eventually I'll get there as a full-time job. But the fact that you guys watch, it really means a lot. The fact that my videos make an impact, and when I get even when I get the smallest comment of wow, this really helped me, totally makes my day, turns everything around. So thanks guys for being a subscriber and for continuing to learn and grow with me as your guide. So at the risk of adding to this year of a dumpster fire, thanks guys for watching. Keep on creating. Oh shoot, I remembered one more thing. There's only going to be 2 videos this month. This is one of them. The next one is the outtakes. I've got a lot going on this month, as I usually do. So this week is outtakes. This week is message. Outtakes is the 26th. That's right after Christmas. So big gap in between. Watch the backlog of stuff if you haven't seen anything. Subscribe, like, all that fun stuff. Keep on creating, and I will see you guys next time.